Hi, I'm Yavuz with FibroPool. I'm here to show you how to tune up your Polaris 280 for the summertime. Okay, first we're going to open the box and check the contents. You should receive 3 large wheels and 1 small wheel, the tail and bearings. Let's double check. The 2 large wheels with back plates, these are the drive wheels. The large wheel without the back plate is an idler wheel, and the small wheel, which is an idler wheel as well, a replacement bag, a complete new tail, and turbine bearings. Once we have all of these, we will move on to the next stage of disassembly of our Polaris. Okay, for this purpose, we have a Polaris 280. I chose a black one. It's easier to see what we've changed on it. We have a package that you would be receiving with all the contents in it, and the necessary tools, simple pair of pliers, a screwdriver flathead, and a screwdriver Phillips head, and a small razor blade, a small container to put the screws and little parts in. And to make things faster and easier, I use a cordless drill instead of the other hand tools. Okay, now we will start disassembling our Polaris. First, we will remove the ball. Just remember how far that ball was in, because you will put it back into the same position. Just swivel it left and right, and it will come out. Then, the tail adjustment screw. Just remember how far it was in before you remove it, because when you put it back, it's going to be at that level again. Then, snap ring for the tail. Snap ring, you get a new one, so feel free to cut this if it doesn't want to move happily. Feel free to cut it, because there will be a new one in there. And get that piece, and discard it. And slide your tail out. And that is also trash. Now we are ready to disassemble the body of the Polaris. There will be 1 set screw in here. It's Phillips, and I will use a cordless drill to get it out. And that's it. With that, the Polaris upper assembly will lift and tilt backwards and come out. Now we have the tail and the head float off, we can start disassembling the main body. There will be a set screw right here. It's a Phillips. You just have to take that off. It's a small screw, and it's off. And the upper cap lifts up and tilts backwards and slides out of there. And once you hit, this is your screw that came out. Okay, we will move the upper cap aside. And now we are able to see the entire assembly. These are the wheel blocks, and this is the turbine bearings in here. So, what do? First thing is we need to remove the cap that covers the turbine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now all these screws go into female nuts on the other side, on the underneath side. Normally Polaris embeds those really well, but sometimes they do fall out. If they do fall out, just in case, you will just have to turn it over and open these 2 screws, also a Phillips, pull the bottom cap, and you will be able to see where those nuts were, and you can just sit them back in. So our system is opening up now. Here's the cover plate, and here is the turbine cover. Okay, now we can start removing all the bearings out of the picture. Okay, we remove the turbine feed hose. These are put together by zip ties. You can always change the zip ties. It's a good idea to change them. Now we have everything exposed here. First, the wheel. 1, and falls off the wheel. Second, the the rear wheel. Falls off the rear wheel. Remember, the rear wheel does not have the protective plate. It's actually called the sand guard. And the single side wheel. Okay, that came out. Now we have this guy here. Flathead screwdriver. It's good for this use. And just slide it right out. Well, sometimes they're not too happy to come out, but they have to. You can kind of push in the middle to get some support and pull it out like that. Okay, now it's loose. Comes out. You see, it's all the dirt and sand. Sand is the biggest problem with these cleaners. It gets in the bearings, it gets in these fittings, but now we have that. Now all we have left is the turbine. Same screws again. Same screws. There we go, and these will slide right out. Now our disassembly is complete. We're going to blow all this, brush them off with toothbrushes, whatnot. Just get everything cleaned up for reassembly, because once we put it back together, it's ready to go back into the water. Now that we removed everything, we pull these out. This is trash, but we keep the plate and the 2 bolts. The small wheel is trash. The screw and the washer is trash. The other drive wheel, we again take these out, is trash. And third wheel, take the screws out, and it's trash. The tail is trash. Now we keep everything else because we will need them. Okay, now we start reassembling everything. First, we take the turbine and slide the turbine bearings on. And then we put that into position. Now time to screw those in. When you use a cordless screwdriver, use it at a very, very low torque setting, just in case you cross-thread something, because these things don't have to be super, super tight. They just need to be in position and snug. Now those are in. Now, next, we're going to put our turbine bearing covers. Slide this on. This little piece is glued in here, so be graceful because they tend to break, and you just don't want extra work for replacing those. Our cover plate. Okay, now we are working on the wheels. First, the 2 drive wheels, the ones with the rear plates, they need to go in. Slide them into position, and our metal plate and the screws. Now, there's a slight adjustment on these, so do not snug them all the way until we make that adjustment. Remember, this thing goes this way or this way. It all depends on the distance. For example, on the single wheel side, it's to the back. On the other side, it will be to the front. See? If you flip it backwards, it'll be too far. As you see, they can move back and forth. We want these to go in so far that the turbine locks into it. Now, turbine locked into it. And same here. Push it back slightly. Do it thumb and tighten it. Now, both wheels are moving in unison. Okay, now we have our third wheel. Okay, third wheel's in place. Now, this is called idler pulley actually. Uh-oh, we put this backwards. As I said, these can be put near or far, and I happen to put it backwards. Not that I don't know, I just want to give you the option of it. Now, this is in position. Time for the idler pulley. And this is the idler pulley. You will have to spring this out to get it in position. Spring it out and slide it. What idler pulley does, remember these two are drive wheels and this is an idler wheel. Idler pulley actually transfer this motion to the rear wheel. So that one turns it with it as well. Okay, now idler pulley is in place. Let's tighten it up. Okay, now when the turbine turns, everything turns together. At the beginning it's very, very tight. It will take maybe about 4 or 5 minutes for it to get really comfortable and loose. And remember, this thing had a broken zip tie, so I'm just going to put a zip tie on it. And while I'm at it, I'm going to replace the front zip tie as well. It doesn't hurt. Okay, now everything is back together on the inside. Remember, when you put it into the water, if it doesn't move well or if it's real sluggish, that means you have tightened these front wheels too much and perhaps you put too much pressure onto the idler pulley. In that case, go ahead and take the top off, slide these out slightly, but while they are still engaged, these two are still engaged and this one's still transferring the motion backwards. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and cap it. Okay, now that we're putting everything back together, here's the cap. We will slide the cap like this, just like we took it off. And it is not the happiest thing to fit into position, but you have to get it right before you screw it down. And okay, it's in. Now, our tail adjustment screw. Okay, that was the original setting, and the head float. And you can see the little mark of sunlight wear on this thing, so that's where I'm going to. And now the tail. Tail will slide into this barb, and you just squeeze this by finger, or you can use a pair of channel like pliers like this. It's in position, and now the rest. Okay. Okay, now you have successfully tuned up your Polaris. It is ready for the spring use, and it should give you quite a few more years under these conditions, and you can repeat these changes, these tune-ups, until the entire body is worn out or broken, because these are the wear parts here. And if you have any questions on how to do this, you can go to our Facebook page and ask questions there, or you can leave comments on the YouTube and we will try to answer you. Thank you.